President Schimpert, President Wolf, faculty, students of Concordia University, my own Liberian compatriots, the many organizations that have participated in this event. Let me say that I'm excited, certainly by the very warm welcome we've received from the time we arrived at the airport and right through all the events in which we've participated. I'm energized by the crowds that we see here and by the expression of welcome and support on all of your faces. And I'm indeed honored by the distinction of the award that you have just granted me. I look at the audience and see so many dressed in the attire of our native land. And I'm tempted, as was with the traditional welcome that was given by one of you, to say, Yakune, Mwen, Babwa, Make, some of our traditional languages, which merely mean hello. It's good to see you. As many of you know, our country has traversed a very long road. In our history, there have been good times associated with us being the only independent African country, good times associated with the high rate of growth that we experienced in the years of our independence, proclaiming ourselves to be one of the very few countries never colonialized. Good times in our support of the liberation movements. But we also had bad times. Times associated with our failure to unite our people, our failure to respond to the development needs of all of our population, our failure to promote equity and equal opportunity and balanced development throughout the country. And in the process, we found ourselves not only with the effects of a coup d'etat, but a civil war that lasted for over 14 years, that destroyed much of the gains that we had in all the areas of our national endeavor. But we've been blessed. God has given us an opportunity to start anew, to reconstruct our economy, to renew our nation. And that is the challenge for each and every Liberian. The challenges are enormous, although we've made some very important first steps. There's the challenge for peace and security, to ensure that each Liberian can go to bed at night knowing that they can be safe, knowing that they can rise in the morning without molestation during the night, knowing that our security forces, which comprise our army, our police force, will protect them rather than prey on them, knowing that we have professional attributes in all of those who have responsibility for the security and safety of our nation. We have a challenge in education. Over the many years of destruction, our educational system have been affected and the quality eroded. Today, we need not only to reconstruct our schools and our training institutions, but to be able to put our young people, many of whom have have not had the opportunity to go to school. Many were conscripted into warring factions. Today we have 12, 13, 15 years old starting first grade. Our challenge is to ensure that we can help to heal the wounds of war, that we can bring to their consciousness the importance of an education for their future and for them becoming important stakeholders in the processes of development. Bringing quality education will require that we do all we can, and this is why we have enforced universal primary education by removing all the fees in those schools. As a result, we are proud today that enrollment within the first year of our administration has increased by 40%. But the challenges do remain, and that's why we launched the Liberia Education Trust, trying to mobilize resources to supplement government resources and government budgetary resources that cannot meet all the while and many needs of the nation. The Liberian Education Trust, to which you've just contributed, aims at either repairing or building 50 new schools throughout the country, training 500 teachers, and providing 5,000 scholarships to girls. In addition, it seeks to introduce literacy program to our market women, those who have been the resilient. We also have the challenge of jobs. Today, the data shows that over 70% of our people are unemployed. That is a recipe for exposing their vulnerabilities and thereby exposing them to the chances that people may recruit them once again to take us back to war. We have to make sure, and in that respect, we want to make sure that we get our economy functioning again with the private sector at the very core of the activities. Again, we're blessed. Our country is not poor. We are very well naturally endowed. What we need to do is to put our mineral resources and our forestry resources and our agricultural resources and our marine resources to work for the good of the people, creating jobs, reconstructing our infrastructure, making sure that the private sector and the empowerment, particularly of the Liberian business people, so that they take a huge stake and a primary role in our economy, making sure that once again our nation is at work and perceived to be at work. Our challenge is to promote good governance, to fight corruption, that cancer that has taken away from our natural resources and diverted that which belongs to the people into the hands of a few. We are in the process of doing just that, creating a code of conduct, making sure we have an anti-corruption strategy and policy which aims at zero tolerance for corruption. It's not an easy task for a nation that has been subjected for so long to indiscipline, sometimes to dishonesty. But we are on that road to try to address this. Improving our judicial system so that people have recourse when their rights have been violated. Supporting and promoting those institutions like the civil society that will provide the checks and balances to make sure that government excesses are a thing of the past, to make sure that accountability and transparency become part of the basic hallmarks of this government, ensuring that we have a civil service that is based on the merit system with proper compensation to reduce their vulnerabilities, but also with proper qualification and training and performance. All of these things represent our challenges and represent our progress. We're trying to restore our national image and improve our relationship, not only among our neighbors, but throughout Africa, recognizing that despite our ties to the United States, Liberia is still an African nation, steeped in the African culture and the African tradition, things that we have to cultivate, trying to restore our country creditworthiness by tackling our huge debt burden and finding relief to the many mechanisms that exist for this purpose. I'm so pleased to hear of CAPLA and what they have done to respond to our call for Liberia's talent, Liberia's skill, Liberia's resources, Liberia's assets, represented by the many of you in this room, to come home, to come and join the processes of national renewal and nation rebuilding, to give back to your country the little that it may have given to you over the years. We know that many of you cannot pull up stakes right away. We know that many have ties through children, through jobs and institutions. But just like CAPLA has done, to reach out across the ocean and to start the process that will lead to return, we'd like to commend him and to encourage many of you to do likewise. We think Liberia is in the process of a renaissance. We think with the collective effort of all Liberians, each one taking a stake in the future, that we can indeed become that which this government seeks to be, a post-conflict success story, a country that can rise above the death and destruction of the past and become a model, responding to the needs of all of its people for opportunities, for social justice, for equity, and for development. Thank all of you who have been here today to participate in this, to give us encouragement. All of those listed in this program, thank you for being on that long road with us, and thank you for your prayers.
It's okay, you can come up here. These girls represent several countries, Liberia and Kenya among them.